Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's workshop. We are talking today about why quick fixes work and then stop working and how to make regulation stick. So, um, somebody coming in here. So what we want to talk about today is there's a lot of quick fixes that you likely have been sold in the personal development and the self-help industry. And the quick fixes work until they don't, right? They will work short term and give you some shifts and some change, and then they stop working. And this is where people typically turn inwards and say, well, I must be the problem because it worked at one point and then it stopped working. So I must be the problem. Or it's working for so and so and it's not working for me. So I must be the problem. But really, it's that the quick fix is like a band aid that is not really here to transform your life. And so we're going to talk about what actually will. So, this is a workshop for those of you who are ready to find a level of success, both financial and otherwise, that doesn't demand that you burn yourself out, that doesn't require you to self abandon and to get rid of all of your boundaries. So, my goal for today, for this session, is that you will see why the tools that you turn to when it's time to grow, time to scale, or time to transform your life produce inconsistent results. We are going to share our 2-minute reset method with you, and then we're going to show you how to make your life unrecognizable by summer. So, first, for those of you who have never seen me before, you might be thinking, who the heck is Tiffany Toombs Clevenger? And I would love to introduce myself. This is me, Tiffany Toombs Clevenger. I am a wife and a mother and an avid hiker out here in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. I'm an international speaker, podcast host, coach, author, um, and I love to garden. And sometimes I do crazy things like doing yoga on the back of a horse. So I also want you to know that I am a recovering, high performing, overachieving, people pleasing perfectionist. Say that 3 times fast. So all of that, the overachieving, the perfectionism, the people pleasing, all of that led me to a lot of coping skills, which were not very healthy. And as you can see, I am drinking straight from the vodka bottle on Christmas Eve here about 12 years ago as I was wrapping presents. At that point in time, I was an expert in burning myself out. I was an expert in ignoring my own needs and abandoning myself. And I was an expert at avoiding the things that would truly allow me to have freedom and create the next level success that I desired. You might even say I was the queen of self sabotage. So, what I wanted at that time was to start living up to my potential instead of continuing to play out the patterns that had got me stuck in those coping mechanisms. And what I discovered is what I'm going to share with you today. So, burnout became a thing of the past when I started making these changes. Success and achievement not only became sustainable, but they also became inevitable because the drive and the motivation and the desire was consistently there. Give me a one in the chat if you have had times in your life, or maybe you're here now where you know you used to be really motivated. You know you used to be really driven, but it's like every passing year it becomes harder and harder to like get that energy up. And let me tell you, it's not because of your age that it's harder and harder to get motivated, but it's because of how your nervous system has been conditioned. When I made these changes, I was able to work less hours in my business, but make more money overall. And I think most importantly, I was more deeply aligned with my God given purpose. So give me a one in the chat if you have tried mindset and manifestation tools before that worked until they didn't. So maybe it was willpower, maybe it was self-discipline, maybe it was, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go method, right? You've tried these mindset tools and they worked initially, but somewhere along the line, they stopped working and stopped producing results for you. When the tools that once worked stop working, who do you tend to blame? Tell me in the chat. Who did you tend to blame when they stopped working? Did you say, oh, this must not be a very good technique? Must have been the coach. If you're like most people, you would say me, like we're seeing in the chat there. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You're not the problem. Okay, I know that you've been sold that you are the problem, and there's lots of people who have told you that you are the problem to sell you something. You're not the problem. You've been sold tools that keep you in a buying cycle. And this is really great for the person that is selling you things. This is what frustrates my coaches and mentors the most is they're like, but you're like selling the fix and then people don't need you anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point, right? I don't want people to need me. That keeps others in business, but it doesn't give you your full power back. And honestly, that doesn't feel very good for me to give you something that's not going to give you your power back. So many of you have regulation tools already. Some of them work, sometimes. It's not that you're using them wrong. It's that these tools that you've been using, they change your state, but they don't change your capacity. And if you're not using them consistently, they won't change your nervous system. Give me a 2 in the chat if you are somebody who only uses the tools when you are like almost at rock bottom. There has to be like your house on fire, total chaos, you're spiraling downwards before you're like, fine, I'll use the tools, right? That's what most people do. And so if you're only using the tools when you get into a crisis state, your system isn't going to change. Sustainable momentum, growth, and transformation requires more than just a state change. It requires capacity. Capacity is trained, not something that you occasionally access. And if you only attempt to access capacity when you're spiraling or when you're about to hit rock bottom, you'll find that that's a tall order. That is a very hard task. So there was a slide in here that compared the two. Let me just find out where that went. So you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between state and capacity? And that's a great question. Your state is how you feel about what's happening right now. Keyword, how you feel. Whereas capacity is what you can sustainably hold over time. So state is temporary and it can fluctuate through the day. This is where when I show you the 2-minute reset, you'll be able to see your state change very quickly. Okay? Your state it can shift, like I said, within minutes with a regulation tool. Give me a 2 if you're somebody who gets hangry. Like when you get hungry, you might get a little bit angry or irritable, right? I am definitely somebody who gets hangry. And so your state could shift within a couple minutes as soon as somebody feeds you, right? Or as soon as you get some rest. So state is fairly fluid. It can change very quickly, and it's based on your regulation in the moment. It's based on, is your nervous system in survival mode or is it in parasympathetic dominance? If you were to think about your nervous system like an electrical circuit, which it very much is, but think about the electrical circuit in your house. State is whether or not the light switch is flipped on or flipped off. Capacity, on the other hand, is structural. It's physiological. It is what we can safely handle. So coming back to the electrical circuit analogy, it's how much electricity you can send through that circuit safely at any given time. And so capacity is either built up and expanded or it's depleted over time. So it's how much pressure, how much responsibility, how much visibility, how much effort you can hold without collapsing. How long can you stay regulated before tipping into a survival mode response? Okay. And this is where our 2 minute reset comes in. It is going to help you change your state so that you can become more regulated in the moment. But if you're only doing the 2 minute reset, then you're not going to find your capacity is expanding all that much. So, our 2 minute reset, we call it coming back to base. And so we use the acronym BASE. B stands for breath. We want you to breathe. You can just do plain old belly breathing where you're taking nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Or you can do a breathing technique like box breathing, like the physiological sigh, like the 4-7-8 method, right? There's numerous mindful breathing exercises out there that you can do. You can use any of those during the B. Then we're going to anchor into your body. This is becoming grounded, getting really grounded in your body, which leads us automatically into S, sensations. So name 2 to 3 sensations that you can feel in that moment. So it might be, for example, I feel the wall against my back. I feel the chair under my bum. It might be a feeling sensation. So I feel a pit in my stomach. I feel a little bit anxious. It could also be external sensations. I feel cold. I feel warm. Okay, so any sensations, it doesn't matter. You're just naming them. And then we're going to engage. So we're going to look at whatever task we need to do. We're going to break it down into the smallest possible chunk. And then we're going to engage in that activity, that micro task. Okay. So when should you use base? Before a task that might dysregulate you. So if I'm about to hop on a sales call and I know that sales is not my favorite thing to do, then I'll come back to base. Do it when you're doing something uncomfortable. Maybe you're in the middle of creating content and you're second guessing yourself and you're spinning in your head. Use base. Come back to base in that moment. When emotions are running high, maybe it's a day where everything seems to be going wrong. You're already on edge. Use base. Come back to base. Okay, so let's try it together. So we're going to take 2 minutes now. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. And if my thing would stay on. So we are going to, you'll hear it go off in 2 minutes. So we're going to start with B. So breathe, a couple deep belly breaths. Typically, we want to do about 4 rounds of our breathing. You can do more than 4 if you need. And then really anchor into your body. And if you need to close your eyes to do this, go ahead. But really get grounded in your body, really present in this moment. We're not in the past of what happened earlier today. We're not in the future of what could happen tomorrow, but we're very much anchored in right now. And as you anchor into right now, you might like to start naming your 2 to 3 sensations. I might say, I feel a little bit hungry right now. I'm going to go eat dinner in a moment. And I can feel the wall against my back. You might like to, for some of the safer or more neutral sensations, just really focus on that feeling for a moment. And I can feel my feet against the floor. And then what is the next task? What is the task that you're avoiding? What is the task that's irritating you? And break it down into the smallest possible step. So that might be, if you're creating content, I'm going to open my camera. I'm going to open my notes and start writing a caption. Okay. That is our 2 minutes up there. So it doesn't take a long time, but how do you feel different now to how you did before? Let me know in the chat. How do you feel now compared to how you felt before? Relaxed, grounded. You might feel more tired if you've had a crazy day or you've been kind of pushing yourself. So this is a reset. It is a state-based reset for when we're getting dysregulated, when we are starting to spiral. And this is a great place to start our change. If this is the only thing that we do, however, it is going to only change our state. It will not grow our capacity over time. So this gives us access. It allows, excuse me, it allows our logical brain to come back online. But the 2 minute reset does not build capacity. The greatest myth is that feeling better in a moment, that should say does, recondition your system, right? Feeling better for a moment is not enough to completely reprogram your system. If it was, you guys would be good. You wouldn't have gone from self-help book to self-help book to course to coach, etc. Oh, here's the slide I was looking for before. So the difference is, as I was saying before, your state is what you're experiencing now. It's momentary. It can change quickly. You just experience that. It's whether the switch is on or off, right? So the electrical circuit switch is on or off. Whereas capacity is how much you can hold over time. It's durable and it changes through training and recovery. So it's something that we have to build up. And in the electrical circuit analogy, it's how much current the circuit can safely handle. So this is why your state change, and give me a 3 in the chat if you've ever experienced this. You feel great on Monday, but you crash by Thursday. You're exhausted. You're like, oh, hurry up, weekend. Get here already. That's because the tools that you've been using change your state, but they have not built capacity. So you've been taught tools that change your state without actually showing you how to recondition your system to have a greater capacity, to be able to hold more. So this is why you can do your breath work or you can say your affirmations as you go into a launch in your business, but then you do make more money, but then you get rid of it all right away, right? You can't hold the energy of the overflow or the excess, and so you look to get rid of it all right away. It's why you can have a video go viral, but then you stop posting and you stop showing up because the visibility excess or overflow was too much for your system to hold safely. And so it shut you down to keep you safe. So the impact of relying on state change tools only is that you condition your system to associate starting with crashing. Remember, most people only use their state change tools when they're about to crash or when they have crashed to get them out of it. So what this does is it teaches your system that when you start something, you post the content, you start writing the book, you start the business, you ask for the sale, you launch the new product or service or offer, that a crash is inevitable. Effort becomes energetically expensive because there's a crash, there's a collapse, there's burnout tied to it. Self-sabotage becomes prevalent because self-sabotage, as annoying as it can be, is actually a protective mechanism. And inconsistency becomes the norm. Again, this is a protective mechanism to keep you safe. Your system doesn't feel safe enough to hold the overflow or the success or the abundance of what you're creating. And so it pulls you back in an attempt to keep you safe. When you train for capacity, on the other hand, your system has the ability to hold the state that you just felt. So give me a 2 if you've ever experienced this. You will do your breathing exercise to change your state, and then somebody cuts you off in traffic, and instantly you are frustrated again. You're road raging, right? You're pissed off. Or you're feeling good. You're ready to like go in your business. You did your breath work for the day. You're feeling good. Then you sit down and you see an email from that one person that triggers you, and instantly the anxiety is there. All right, give me a 2 if any of this sounds familiar to you. And it's because your system doesn't have yet the ability to hold the new state, the calm, the peaceful, the joyful, the grateful state. And so you slip right back to where you were, right? How many of you, give me a 1, would like to have the ability to do your nervous system regulation in the morning and be able to hold the gratitude, the grace for others, the forgiveness, the calm, the joy, the groundedness throughout the day, regardless of what the world throws at you? Doesn't matter if your 3-year-old has 5 different sounds going, right? Before we hopped on today, my husband was talking on the phone to his sister. My toddler, my 3-year-old, had, there was something on the TV. My husband had a basketball game on. My toddler had his robot talking. He was banging on his tambourine, and he had some other, there was like 5 or 6 different sounds, all loud, going on in the living room, right? There was one point in time where that would have made me flip my lid, be so overstimulated that I was just snapping like, everybody stop, like, shut up, turn it off, right? But I've trained my capacity that I was like, okay, the robot's a little annoying, so I'm going to turn him off, but I'm not like, I'm good. I'm calm. I'm grounded in this moment. Okay. And it's possible. We just have to train your capacity to hold that consistently. So this is what happens when you increase your capacity and you take regulated action. You'll be able to break the spirals faster, get your energy and motivation back, and stop procrastinating. You'll be able to start taking action on things that you've been putting off for months or potentially even years. You'll be able to sell your products or services or offers for more than you ever have before, and you'll feel safe and happy and comfortable and worthy to do that. You'll find that you can hit 6 figures a lot faster than you used to. Or maybe you can hit $250,000 in 3 quarters. You might have a $10,000 week, or find yourself releasing weight without making any changes to your diet and exercise. You might even find you close your first $100,000 deal. So the real question is, can your nervous system hold the success that you want to achieve in 2026? Now, if you feel a little bit like this, I feel like I've just had the fire hose opened and there's so much to digest here. I get it. This is what we've covered so far today. And this is what we have yet to cover. This is what we have yet to show you about training your capacity. So if I could give you a step-by-step process to expand your capacity so that you can build momentum, hit your goals faster, make more money than you ever had before while working less, what would that be worth to you? And I want you to put a specific dollar amount to it. Would it be worth $100? Would it be worth $1,000? Would it be worth $10,000? So personally, I've invested over $100,000 into learning these tools, like cold hard cash, 100 grand, and tens of thousands of hours to discover the winning formula. It allowed me to go from a bank account that looked like this to making more money than ever before, our income growing year after year. We have 6 months worth of costs in savings. We have money in investment accounts for retirement and other things. We take Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays completely off. We don't work 3 days a week. And it didn't just work for us. Nancy was able to hit six figures within the first quarter of 2018 doing this. Roshana went from driving Uber at Christmas to make sure there was enough money for Christmas presents to by June 18th had had a $25,000 month. It went on to be a $35,000 month, and she hit her first six figures in her business that year ever. Josh was able to go out and collect $75,000 worth of collections and new income. And I just want to highlight the collections because this was money that he was owed for work he had already done. But he was so dysregulated and so shut down that he couldn't even go collect the money for the work that he had already done, for the materials that he had already paid for. And so this is what we show you how to do in our Momentum Mastery program. So you get, in this program, you get our regulated momentum method. It's our step-by-step system that will make your life unrecognizable within the next 6 months. So by summer, your life will be completely unrecognizable. Each month, you'll unlock next level tools and quick habit forming identity shifting strategies that will profoundly change your life. Using the regulated momentum method, you'll find that you build consistency steadily, you avoid tasks less, you sabotage yourself less, it becomes effortless to take action, you have total clarity on what to do and where you're going, you're excited to take action, you're excited to wake up in the morning, you feel aligned with the action that you're taking, and you'll experience more success. So the regulated momentum method is valued at $1,997. You also get our Momentum Accountability Engine. And so this is weekly check-ins and accountability to support you in staying on track. You get group Voxer access for support to ask questions when you're stuck and to celebrate your wins with like-minded people who will support and celebrate with you. So that's valued at $997. You're also going to get our regulated performance labs. So these are live monthly calls where I will be live with you, guiding you through a deep regulation technique that's going to reset and retrain your system so that you can accelerate your growth. The replays are available if you're not able to make it live, but we always recommend making it live where possible. And that's valued at $697. You're going to get daily regulation and leadership coaching drops. So in the Voxer group, I will drop almost like a mini podcast episode for you. And these are to help you change your perception, keep you engaged, and open your mind to new possibilities. Everything I share is neuroscience backed, and they're 2 to 3 minutes long, so you can listen to them while you're brushing your teeth, while you're washing your face, while you're going to the restroom if you want to. And those are valued at $497. You're also going to get our Momentum Intelligence Tracker. And let me just tell you, I just made this into a digital app, and I am so excited about how awesome this is, because this is going to help you intuitively recognize your patterns in real time. We have designed this app that when you do your weekly check-ins, it will be able to recap your month and your last 6 months worth of check-ins, and it will be able to say to you, hey, whenever you have a week focused on visibility, your capacity drops. We need to do some work there. Every time that you are focused on recovery, your clarity improves 30%. That is how we've designed this app, is to give you the ability to be shown those patterns in real time so that you can see the blind spots that you might not be aware of. We can't fix something if we don't know it's there. And that's why we've designed the Momentum Intelligence Tracker. So it's going to allow you to recognize the patterns that are helping you, that are empowering you, but also the ones that are holding you back. So that's valued at $297. You will also get our Consistency Accelerator Intensive. And so these are live monthly coaching calls with me where you get a hot seat coaching session. So I will come to you specifically. We'll talk about your personal goals, where you are stuck in that moment, what patterns are coming up for you. And I will give you custom personalized support based on where you're stuck to support you in moving through that. Those are valued at $1,500. So everything that is included in this program comes to a total of $6,985. Now, we're in the middle of launching this program. So right now you can also get our founding member bonuses when you join. This includes our rapid regulation toolkit. So this is where you'll unlock new monthly tools to deepen your regulation practice, tools to navigate any situation that comes up for you that might dysregulate you. So that's $297. We're also going to give you our ECOS, our Entrepreneur Consistency Operating System. We are building this into a digital app for you right now as well, but this is our execution framework. This is going to translate regulation plus capacity plus clarity into daily execution so that you don't have to get stuck in overthinking. This is going to help you decide what to work on, when to work on it, and how to work on it without triggering your shutdown switch. So that's valued at $397. You're also going to get our 7-day momentum reset. This is going to help you gain clarity and consistency each week, recognize the patterns that have been keeping you stuck. And that's $197. And lastly, you'll get the root cause mastery workshop. So this is to help you self-identify the root cause of what's triggering your shutdown switch and causing you to collapse, so that you know how to transform the root cause and where to focus your work. And that's $297. So everything that you are going to get with the founding member bonuses comes to $7,173. My apologies, the slide is not formatted properly right now. So there is a story of an ancient monastery, and they had this massive clay Buddha outside, and they were moving the monastery from one location to another. And on the day that they were about to start moving it, the manager of the monastery noticed a giant crack in the forehead of the Buddha. And he didn't want the Buddha to be damaged as they were moving it. So he climbed all the way up, and he was about to start putting more clay over that crack when he realized that there was a little bit of gold coming through underneath it. And so he pulled off a little bit more clay. And what he realized was that under all of that clay was this golden Buddha. So he went back through the records of the monastery, and he had found that hundreds of years prior, there was a war that broke out in that country. And the person who managed the Buddha at that time was so afraid that the enemies were going to steal the gold Buddha that he covered it in clay. And this is what's happened to you throughout your life. You have had experiences that have, whether it's through people's words or their actions or the interpretation that you've given the situation, you have become covered in clay. And it is shining and dulling the light and the purpose that you are here to put out into the world. And so my question for you today is, are you ready to let what's underneath all of that clay finally start showing through so that the world can see the light that you were put here to share? So we're obviously not going to ask you to pay $7,173 today. This program will be sold for $2,997 when we get to the end of our launch phase. Right now, though, for joining as a founding member, you can get the first 30 days for only $47, and then it goes to $97 a month after that, and you can cancel anytime. So to make this already no-brainer offer even better, we're also going to offer our 30-day regulated momentum guarantee. If you are doing the work, you are taking the action, you are using the tools for 30 days, and you feel no change at all, we will give you your $47 back and you can keep all of the founding member bonuses. So $47 for the first 30 days and then $97 a month after that. And you can cancel anytime. So here's everything that you get. You can scan that QR code or click that link in the chat to join us.